My ex-wife, Hannah, 36 years old female, has been relentlessly trying to rekindle our relationship, and to my surprise, our daughters Zoe and Emma, both 16, are also pushing for us to get back together. At first glance, it may not sound like such a big deal, right? But the reality is that while I wish I could tell Hannah to simply go away and never contact me again, things aren't that simple. We share two daughters, and that means that my relationship with her is tied to my role as their father. I can't just cut her out of my life completely without losing access to my girls as well. We married at a young age, about 20 at the time, and had been dating for 3 years before that. Our daughters came into the picture soon after, in the very first year of our marriage. However, things took a turn when Hannah faced complications during childbirth that would later make it difficult for her to conceive again. At the time, I wasn't bothered by that. I was just grateful that she pulled through the ordeal healthy, and we had two beautiful daughters to care for. Unfortunately, after 9 years of marriage, I found out Hannah had cheated, and that was the breaking point for me. I have no tolerance for infidelity. Once I found out about the affair and learned more details, any remaining affection for her disappeared. I firmly believe in respecting myself and not staying in a relationship where trust has been broken beyond repair. So, to clarify, this is not a threat about me moving on from her. That happened 7 years ago. To be honest, I don't harbor any ill feelings toward her. I just don't care about what happens in her life unless it concerns our daughters. The problem, however, is that while I've moved on, Hannah, her family, and even our daughters are still holding on to the idea of us getting back together. No matter how many times I tell them that I have no intention of rekindling our relationship, they keep pushing. My lack of dating for a few years after the divorce might have led them to think there was hope for a reconciliation. But honestly, I wasn't interested in jumping into another relationship so soon. My daughters were my #1 priority, and I didn't want to complicate things with a new partner while still working through the aftermath of the divorce. It took time, but I worked through the emotional fallout of the affair with the help of friends, family, and counseling. I'm in a good place emotionally, and I have no problem communicating with my girls. Our relationship has been smooth. There's never been any major conflict, no teenage rebellion or issues. Everything has been fine except for the ongoing issue with their mother. The girls know about Hannah's affair. She told them herself 3 years ago, and I imagine she's been filling their heads with her own version of events ever since. I've asked her countless times to stop, but she refuses. Now she's just more subtle about it. What has made things even more complicated is that since the divorce, Hannah hasn't dated anyone or had another relationship. While I'm sure she thinks this is some form of dedication, I find it frankly insulting. She cheated on me during our marriage, but now she's content to live without any romantic connections for 7 years. It feels more like an attempt to keep some kind of hold on me, even though we're no longer together. I've tried to ignore it and brush off the mentions of her, whether it's her appearance, photos, or references that come up from time to time, but it's becoming increasingly difficult, especially since I've started dating someone new. Lena, who's 8 years younger than me, isn't the first person I've dated post-divorce, but she is the most serious relationship I've had since the split. We were friends for 4 years before things turned romantic, bonding over a shared hobby. I can honestly say I love Lena. This was something I didn't expect to feel, especially after what happened with Hannah. For a long time, I was afraid that the betrayal had left me emotionally damaged and unable to love again. But Lena proved me wrong, and for the first time in years, I found myself falling in love. Initially, my daughters didn't have much to say about Lena and me. They didn't comment on the few relationships I had after the divorce. But recently, things have started to shift. They began coming home earlier than usual, finding Lena and me together. There was nothing inappropriate happening, just us spending time together. But soon they started grumbling. First, it was the questions like, "Why is she here?" Then came the complaints, "It's not fair to Mom." It was as if they thought I was intentionally trying to hurt Hannah by dating someone else. I tried sitting them down to have an open conversation. I explained everything, made sure they understood, but they just couldn't let go of the idea that I should get back with their mother. They still held on to the fantasy that things would somehow work out between Hannah and me. Thankfully, Lena has been incredibly patient and understanding through all of this. She encouraged me to give my daughters more time, but to be honest, I'm not sure that will help. It hasn't worked yet, so I'm not confident that it will make any difference now. Fast forward a year, and things have started to change. I had no idea. But my daughters stumbled upon my post online. I didn't even know they browsed Reddit. They discovered the full extent of Hannah's affair and the hurt it caused me. To my surprise, they apologized for everything and begged me to forgive them. But the truth is, there was nothing to forgive. They were just young and manipulated by Hannah, who used their love against them. I've tried to reassure them that I hold no grudges, and after going through several months of counseling, we're closer than we've ever been. The situation with Hannah has changed too. We confronted her about trying to push the idea of us getting back together. I can't say for sure if it made a difference, but my daughters have stopped bringing it up at home. They've started accepting the reality of the situation, even if they don't fully understand it. Things have been getting much better with my daughters and Lena too. They've started communicating with her more, and she's no longer just a girlfriend to them. She's become someone they can talk to, share things with, and rely on. It's been a relief for me to see them getting along. And the cherry on top? 2 months ago, Lena and my daughters surprised me with a proposal. I was completely caught off guard. It was a small, intimate ceremony, and we're now expecting a baby. My daughters are thrilled about the idea of having a baby brother or sister, and it feels like everything is finally coming together.